Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm really excited to finally share this video with you guys. As most of you will be aware, it's been a long time in the making, from October 2023 actually. So I am pleased to finally be sharing this journey with you all, and that is purchasing my first rifle. I didn't quite realise I was opening a can of worms when I started. Everyone hunts differently and has different needs, so what works for me may not necessarily work for you, but I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them below. I don't know them, I'll find out the answers for you. I'll know someone who will. So back in October 2023, I decided it was time to start looking at getting my own rifle. Like I say, it was a bit of a can of worms that I'd opened, and I didn't quite realise how much research and how long it would take me to decide. It was like a year. I'll briefly take you through my thought process and how I came to decide what caliber and what rifle to get. So when we first started researching, by we I mean Dad and I, mainly Dad, there was a few things that we needed to take into consideration. One was recoil fatigue. I wanted to be able to shoot animals all day if I needed to, and not develop a flinch. Another thing was access to ammunition. That includes like the price of it. Some ammunition is really easy to get a hold of, others isn't, and so it is something you need to take into consideration. And finally, I also needed something that was going to be an all-rounder gun. Unfortunately, I'm not able to afford to set up a long-range rifle and a bush gun at the moment, so I wanted something that was going to be versatile. Initially, we started looking at the 6.5 projectiles. They've been around obviously for a long time. I had thought about going down the 7.62, so your 308, but recoil fatigue comes into consideration then, and I also have access to use a 308 if I need, so I kind of wanted to get something a little bit different. When looking, we initially started with the 260. It's been around for a long time, has some really good ballistics. However, one huge hurdle was ammunition. Access to it could be quite difficult, and so basically the other two calibers that we were looking at, that we narrowed it down to, was a 7mm and then the 6.5 Creedmoor. At the end of the day, all the research pointed towards the 6.5. One big thing that we needed to take into consideration was ballistic coefficient, and so that is a measurement of how aerodynamic your projectile is, so how it moves through the air. And that was something that was of great importance, obviously, with long range shooting, and the 6.5 Creedmoor had a higher BC than the 7mm. So another advantage with the Creedmoor is it's a very popular round. There's lots of research, lots of different projectiles available, brass. The 7mm is obviously still very popular. For all intents and purposes, the Creedmoor came out on top. I initially was not very sold on the Creedmoor idea. I had seen that there was a lot of online strong opinions around that cartridge, but for everything that I needed it to do and for what factors were important to me, the Creedmoor stood out on top. So I finally had decided on a caliber. Okay, so we're having a range day today. I've got a 6.5 Creedmoor to shoot.
Rightio, I'm recording now.
And then it was time to decide on what rifle I wanted. This was a whole other journey in itself. I'm quite fussy, and it actually was the longest part of it all. Basically, I was looking between the Brownings, Tikkas and Bagaras. And it wasn't till I went into Hunting and Fishing Ballingers about halfway through last year that I decided on what rifle it was. And I popped in one afternoon and walked into the gun room and on the back wall was a Bagara crest with a VX5, a Leupold VX5 on it, and I knew I wanted a VX5. I'd wanted one for a long time, and so trying to decide on a scope I didn't have to worry about that, I already knew. And so when I seen the rifle on the wall, I was like, I have got to have you. I was very, very, very fortunate to have the support from the Ballingers Hunting and Fishing team. So a massive thank you to Chris and Simon. I really would not have been able to set up my dream rifle without them. And so they ordered it in. And when Dad and I were on our way to our annual tar trip, we popped in and were able to pick it up. And it was so exciting. It was such a cool feeling. And yeah, I still am, I'm just so stoked with it. Craig was there that day and he put the scope on and got it all set up. So I will get into the video now. Enough of me talking. I know that's a very, very brief overview, but you're about to see the scope being set up, sighting it in, and then load development and getting a couple of animals with it. So I hope you enjoy. As you can see, Ballingers have a fantastic setup. Craig had everything ready to go and he was incredible at explaining everything he was doing along the way, so I learnt so much.
Back one in place there. And once that back one is good, then we can readjust the front one, and then we take the back one off and move the front one.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll flick it around anyway.
So we're going to sight on the rifle. It's really important that you read through the manual we've got before firing the rifle, and then you go through to breaking in the barrel. These twin needle gun cases you can actually use as a shooting mat, so we're going to do that today. You rip off your Velcro and you can fold it out.
Now came time to sight on the rifle. We were sighting it in for 100 yards and I had factory ammunition. This was Nosler 140 grain ballistic tips.
The barrel looks like it's tapered, but you just got to get it as even as you can. And just raise your head up and you'll see where it is.
To begin with, we bore sighted the rifle. This is a really quick and easy way to get you in the ballpark. It also saves you using more ammo, which is a bit nicer on your back pocket.
Yeah. Okay, shall we go forward and have a measure?
Yep. Okay, I'll unload.
Yep, unload. After at 100 yards, eh?
Yeah.
Can't argue with that. So there we've got an inch there. So yeah, you're an inch high. Maybe we could go to an inch to the right. Awesome.
There we go. Back we go.
Yep.
It's on the right edge, so I don't know whether that was just me.
That's fine. Let's go up for a look anyway and mark it. Pull through.
As per the instructions, you had to pull through and clean your rifle. And finally, I was able to go out hunting with it. Went out with Luke one morning and managed to shoot a velvety. So I was pretty stoked, as you can see. So I forgot to film gutting and everything else that I needed to. But got away velvety spiker with the rifle finally. It's 196 yards. I shouldn't have time to range it, so I ranged it after. And Bridgie's second deer. So it's been a very successful morning. Got one in the thermal last night as well. So, and the sun's out. It's been so wet on the coast lately. It's been such a mission to try and get a deer because it's been so wet. So not long after, I shot a spiker with Reggie. This was still with factory ammo. So we're down the range today, doing some load development. Got my setup there, we're at 200 yards, and Dad's doing all the math. Ready to roll?
Ready to roll, eh? Yep. Here your rounds here. See how I've numbered them. 1, 2, 3. 3 shots each. 41 grains of powder. Up to 43 grains of powder and half grain steps. So we can just record all this as we go. We'll go 14, eh?
We are at 200 yards here. My rifle's only sighted in for 100 yards, so we're going to sight it in for 200. And then moving forward, it means that I can just use my rangefinder. I'm just using the Hornady app at the moment. I'm finding it pretty good. And I'll use it once I start using different projectiles as well. 2559.
Oh, it is 5.5. I was looking at that. 2.
That was right.
Wicked. 2619. Cool.
Bit more speed, eh?
Looks all good. Doesn't look strange.
No, I don't think so.
Yep, that's right. We'll have a better look at them later on. But yeah, we'll go to number 3 now.
Interesting, eh?
Yep. What else do you notice amongst the rounds?
This still sitting right.
Yes, but they're pretty consistent, aren't they? This is the only outflyer at the moment. It's going to be interesting when we do the next rounds and then the final 3. Done.
That mirage was getting quite hard then.
Yeah, it is.
So.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. Good. Yep, interesting. So this is why, you know, you could say, well, we could load up. You could either go to number 2 or number 4. You got to remember this is at 200 yards. Okay.
So, what are you thinking? Load up 10 of
10
2
of,
4?
I think we go, we'll have a look at everything, but I think number 4, it was just starting to show a bit of pressure signs, so it could also mean that we do number 2. So maybe number 2's the one that we've got to start looking at, because that's not too bad. It's just stringing a wee bit. Would have been ideal to have the 3, you know, like that, but that there is under 1 MOA for a hunting rifle. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
So, we are about to head down the range and I've got 5 rounds to shoot. And then, hopefully that's us done for load development for the meantime.
Right, here's Lucy shooting a 6.5, going to put down range a couple of factory rounds first, just to get an eyeball in and see how it goes. That's at 200 yards. See, yep.
Sweet.
No, nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't get caught up on that.
Yep. Oh, awesome.
1 MOA, shift to the left.
Happy days.
Happy days. Smoked him. Headshot.
Heck, I don't. It's usually dog tucking for me, but I hear.
And this is the final setup. The last piece of the puzzle really was my bipod, and I am really proud to say that I am working with Spartan Precision, and they have sent their Pro Hunt bipod here. So it is just a magnet, and you can pull it off just like that, and it clicks back in. Easy peasy. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I just want to take this opportunity to say another huge thank you to Chris, Simon and Craig at Hunting and Fishing Ballingers, and then also to Dad, because I would not have been able to decide on what caliber without him, and he's put lots of time into research, load development, the list goes on. So thank you, and I will see you guys on the next video.